you are going for a 6-week. You have a 6-week course that you're doing right now. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. What we're going to do is aim for a target on the 23rd of June, which is 4 weeks away. All right? That means we still have a couple of weeks later, 2 weeks after 23rd, if we wish to correct anything, all right? But on the 23rd of June, in the House of Lords in Britain, we have 100 CEOs of major Indian companies coming. They are flying by private jet, all right? Including Wipro, HCL, and Infosys, and Tata. Some of your work will be presented in 4 weeks' time.
Okay.
All right? So the first thing I need to explain to your students is that this is not a game. All right? This is very serious work, and it will have very serious consequences on some of these major companies. All right? Okay. So
we intentionally have shortlisted some of the serious students only for this.
thank
so
God.
They can work on time.
Yes, and I'm glad, because we have to go through a quality assurance, and so you've helped me there a great deal. Thank you very much for that. All right. Now, what we have to decide to do is decide first thing is what sector we are going to measure. All right. Now, this is an international program, and from about tomorrow onwards, we will be targeting 300 American universities, including Harvard, Yale, Stanford, MIT. We will be starting programs all over the world, and there are, of course, about 500 universities in India, and you are the first one to go through this. Okay? So it's perfect, all right? And on the 23rd of June, we have people from Sensex, the Bombay Stock Exchange, flying over, okay, into London for the House of Lords meeting. So I thought the targets that we will go for is I will ask your students to measure the social impact of companies on the Bombay Stock Exchange, Sensex. All right?
Okay. Right. 30 companies you are saying? 30 listed
We have to decide. I am not going to specify how many companies, all right? Because at least one per student. Okay? At least one per student. If your students can do more, the better. So if I was to tell you that I can do about 3 companies in an afternoon. All right? But that's me. So I expect your students to be able to do 1 in the next few weeks. Okay? The work is not difficult. It is not intellectually it is intellectually interesting, but it's not strenuous work, all right? And it's not a big volume of work. I have already asked your students to enroll on a MOOC site, which your students have enrolled on an edX site. edX, that site, the Course Master, that environment is developed by MIT and Harvard. It's called edX. Okay? And so I am very privileged because they decided to allow me to do this for free for them globally, because they like the project. They believe it's meritorious. It has some key advantages for the global university market. All right. Now, so I'm not going to go through today the background and details behind the theory and how people use. You can look at it on the MOOC site, and I am constantly adding to that site now, okay? What I'm going to do today is to go through about 20 minutes just how to do this thing, all right? Exactly how to do the calculation, all right? Do not worry that you will make mistakes. We all make mistakes, all right? Their first point of reference, if you like, supervision, has got to be you. All right? They come to you for the first questions. After that, you can come to me. All right?
Okay.
And I will always check your answers before we admit them into the master database. So because we have a quality assurance program, all right? To ensure if you get one company correct, we will then be able to position to give you a certificate of practice to the student. All right? If you do not get any companies correct, then you will not issue it. But it is very doubtful that you will not get anything correct because we have 4 weeks to keep correcting your work. All right? Okay. So let's start first with the choice that you have to make. You can see I'm going to share you my screen. Okay, let me see now. Let me see how to do this. Sorry, here we are. Okay. All right. So the first thing to do is I want you to go onto the Bombay. Can you see that screen, the Bombay Stock Exchange?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to go to the Bombay Stock Exchange screen. Okay, so type in, it says bseindia.com. And I want you to go to members, which is here. And then under members directory there is members. And that will give you a full list of the members who are on the Bombay Stock Exchange. So if I you can put by sector or type, but for now I'm just going to put submit. And it will give me a full list. Okay. Obviously it's in alphabetical order and it's many pages of it, right? Yeah? Can you see? Right. Okay. So what I want your students to do is when they look at that, choose at least one company, start with one company that is aligned to their interest. All right? Some of them may be wanting to look at companies who they want to work for in the future, companies that they have an interest in. All right, so basically I want them to choose a company, and I'm going to give you some guidance in a second. Your students got to choose one company on the Bombay Stock Exchange, and as you can see, there are many companies, all right? Why do we, and you can choose companies which are aligned to the interest of the student. So I'm giving them flexibility to find a company on the Bombay Stock Exchange, which is a big stock exchange, right? To find a company that is close to what they're interested in. Maybe because they work for them, they want to work for them, they are interested in that sector. It's up to the student, but it has to be on the Bombay Stock Exchange. The reason why we are looking at companies on the stock exchange is because it is easy to find information. We have a very short time scale, and the information we require, okay, is basically public information. So what the other guidance I'm going to give you is that the companies they choose on the Bombay Stock Exchange has got to have on their website, I want them to find any CSR report, okay? The CSR, so have a look at companies which have got a published CSR report on their website. You will be able to get their annual accounts, their audited accounts, which by law has to be on their website. All right. And third thing is go for companies who have a very distinct name, like Reliance, or some of these companies I can see Adolf Pinto. I don't even know who they are. Oh, that's an individual, it says. All right. But go for companies, corporates, not individuals. All right. So, because we were doing a social media search on them called sentiment analysis. So I'm now going to go to the page of how we do it. If you go to the course portal that I've sent you, you can see that now? Yep. This is the portal that you're all subscribed to. And you hit learn to go in. I'll just wait for it to load properly. Okay. Can you see that? Okay. So you've already probably started looking at the courseware here. Yeah, this button.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, today I'm just going to go and teach you how to do the calculation manually. All right, so I'm going to click on that. And this is what I'll be asking you to do later on in your own time. And there is an example calculation here, and the instruction on the one that you can actually fill in is here, instructions and spreadsheet. All right. So if I click on that, and at the end, now this one is dated 5th of April. I will shortly add a new one in the next 24 hours, a later one, all right? And you download it, okay? Can you see the button?
Yeah.
Right, that is the spreadsheet that you will be sending to me once you have filled it in. Now, I'm going to give you an example of how we do it. So let me just get my bottom button again. Sorry, it takes a bit of time. It seems it's because it's recording to my hard disk. It seems to take. Here we are. Okay. All right. This is the spreadsheet that will come out. All right. It's slightly different to this, but it's more or less like this. It's an Excel document. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What you will be completing is something that looks a little like this. So basically we have here company names at the top, and anything that you see in yellow is what you fill in. And each column is just one company. So I'm asking you to do just one company. All right? The yellow parts only. And I'm going to go through an example with you. All right? the introduction is in the first tab here. If you want to see some guidance on how to, on some other results, they're in the second tab URL. The sample tab is the one I'm going to go through right now with you. The general rules is the next tab, which is the rules that I'm going to tell you now verbally, but it's already written for you. Further guidance on, if you have questions on input, is in the next tab. Help, which you can put in, give us your details if you wish. This is the license under which we are supplying this for free because it's called Creative Commons. Creative Commons, ladies and gentlemen, is the same license for Wikipedia, for example. It allows us to share, and basically, as you come up with new ideas, you are welcome to advance this theory that we're doing together. And already I can tell you students have actually added to this. So we are welcome that if you wish to add to the theory, we will welcome it, your input, and advance it. And you will then know that other people are using it. All right? Okay, so let's go to the sample. There are only 3 reports that you need. All right? Number 1 report, as I said to you, is the audited accounts of the company. This is published on their website. You get the last full year audited accounts. All right? And you fill it in here, only in the yellow parts. So you put your name here. Can you see it?
Please repeat, sir.
Can you see the spreadsheet at the moment? Sorry?
Yeah.
Okay. So you put your name in this column. Can you see the column?
Yeah.
Okay. This is my name because I will be moderating it at the end, or I'll probably put Girish's name. All right? Whoever will do it on your side. But I will check all the numbers. This is the date which you submitted. This is the financial year of the company that you're looking at. The year ending that date. It's on the front of the accounts. This is their address, and we ask you to put their postcode in. In India, do you have postcodes?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. The reason why we ask you to do this is because we will map your data onto Google Earth. So we need to know the location. The next 2 columns, next 2 rows you can ignore because local address, local postcode is if we were doing a regional study. It's not necessary. If they have a CSR video on their website, you can put the link in here into the next line. Please note what's really important is this column here. This column tells you the units everything is in. We need it converted into pounds, okay? And so here is where you put the currency conversion rate that you used, okay?
And this rate is of which date?
You can on the day it doesn't really matter too much. It's not going to fluctuate so much, but basically on the day you start doing this work. All right? And the thing to understand is that because, let us say, we do a study and a contract, like the banking contracts that have recently been awarded to 2 licenses to 23 applicants, let us say that somebody does not get a banking license because of your work, because you showed that their CSR is very poor. They will be litigating against us. All right, so I need to justify, to show how we arrived at the figures. So this is a quality check, all right? And even if we get the figure wrong, we've got to show that we carried out due process. Got it? Okay. This one, but the responsibility is ours, so don't worry. This is not your responsibility. We will talk to the company if there's an issue. This one is if you need further information from the company, I'd like you to put the date on which you started asking them. It's unlikely, very unlikely you do that. All right? Okay. Are we clear so far?
Yeah.
All right. Right. I said to you there are three kinds of reports. And I said to you the first is the financial report, which we're going to go through. The second is something called sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is where you input into a search engine called a sentiment analysis engine, which we're going to give you free of charge, and the name of the company you're looking at. The site we want you to look at, it's on the spreadsheet, is called socialmention.com. This is a free site. It's very simple and it works fairly quickly and fairly easily. What it does is it searches the internet, it searches all Twitter feeds, all RSS feeds, all Facebook feeds for the name of the company that you're looking at, all right? And it tells you how positive, negative, or neutral the sentiment is about that company worldwide at that second. Okay? So if I give you an example, give me the name of an Indian company, Tata Group, right? Okay, so I'm going to put it in quotes because it's two words, right? And I'm going to go search. So what this is now going to do is search what people think of Tata Group globally in the last few seconds, all right? And what do you find? Can you see the screen? Can you see the results? Right. Look at this here in the corner. Can you see it? 31 to 1. What this is saying is that there are 31 positive comments and 1 negative comment about Tata Group. And it's giving me all the sources down the page. Okay? For me to check if I want to check. The figures, do you understand how this works, by the way? It's using something for your students. It's using something called the semantic web. It's Web 3.0. So the web you're using right now is called Web 2.0. So Web 1.0 is when you went and searched directly. You went to look exactly for information you wanted. Web 2.0 is where people look to communities of interest using search engines like Google, Yahoo, etc. Bing. Web 3.0 is the latest development in the web, which is using semantic web. In other words, what's the meaning behind the words that are on there? So what it does is look for the word Tata Group in every paragraph or Twitter feed or wherever it found it, and it looks at the context of the paragraph around it, if it's positive, negative, or neutral. All right? So if you look at sentiment here, can you see the word sentiment on the left-hand side? These are the three figures I want you to use. Positive, 31, neutral 169, negative 1. All right? Got it? And these are the figures you take from the company you're searching on. 31, 161, 1, 169, 1. And we will now put it back here. Do you see positive, neutral, negative? Do you see it? Yeah? Okay.
Yes, sir.
The date you carry this out is up here. I want you to use a date when the Bombay Stock Exchange is not open. I think usually it's Sunday. I haven't checked to see in Bombay if the Bombay Stock Exchange is open on Sunday. Usually Sunday stock exchanges are all closed around the world.
Not even on Saturday.
Not even on Saturday. Well, same here. Same here. But I tell you why we go for Sunday. Because on a Sunday, very little happens. So basically, there's very little that's going to affect those values of sentiment in a random way. Do you understand? So we advise you to do these three figures, positive, neutral, negative, on a Sunday. These two are calculated. Anything which is not yellow is not you do not put in. So you put in up here, yeah? Okay, and where you see, by the way, the red tab in the corner, you see guidance if you want further guidance. So you put the name of the company, your name, etc., etc., and here you'll see guidance on how you should fill it in. Okay. Right. Let's go down further. So that's a sentiment report that you put in there. The next is from the financial report. On this side, by the way, we give you guidance where you will find this information. All right. So up here, you see, we tell you it's sentiment analysis. Yeah? Can you see? All right. Over here, we tell you is from the where you find these values. So this is CSR spend. This is how much money, and you can see it here, how much money the company is spending on CSR. All right? You will find that either in the accounts or the CSR report, because there's only 3 reports, remember, sentiment analysis, accounts, and CSR report. You don't need anything else. Beware that the company in their website may call their CSR report something else. They may call it sustainability report, citizenship report, social impact report, all kinds of intangibles. But we, for our sake, we will call it CSR report, all right? So you put the amount here, but please note the units, millions of pounds. Millions of pounds, sterling. The next figure, you can assume it to be 0. Degree of separation, 0. It belongs to a theory that we've not fully developed, so just put 0. The next is amount of shares in millions in the company. It's in the annual report, in the accounts. The next is the capitalization of the company. Okay. The capitalization of a listed company, it's in the annual report, but by the way, you can also find it online, both at the BSC site, at the Bombay Stock Exchange site. We often use something called Yahoo Finance to find it. So let me see if I can do that here. Let me see if I can go back to the screen. I need to get to a browser. Sorry, just waiting for this to come up. Okay. So if I go to the browser screen, if I go to, I've never done it on the Indian, or have I? Maybe I have. Anyway, Yahoo. Well, if I go Tata Group, Yahoo share price. Let's see if it comes up. Okay, here we are. So Yahoo's usually a good place to start with, all right? In fact, it's come up, yeah. So if I go, actually it's got more than one. Let me just check, Tattoo Yahoo Finance. I think it's this BO, because that'll be the Bombay Stock Exchange, I suspect. But let me just click on that. Okay. So this is Tata Steel, wrong company, all right? But you get the picture. Do you see the name of the company? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Here is a market capitalization here. But remember, this is in Indian rupees, I suspect. Because it's whatever the stock exchange is in India. 476 billion Indian rupee. Is it rupees or will it be lakh? It'll probably be. Go on.
Probably in rupees.
Yes, I think it's rupees. I think it'll be in rupees. Okay? So you take that value, and let me go back to that page. And while I'm waiting for that page, what I'm going to do, by the way, one of my students has done already Infosys, Wipro, and HCL. I will send you his report. Okay?
Okay.
So you can. So it would help you see how he's approached it. All right.
Yeah.
So here is a market capitalization. This is where you put it in. All right. Number of staff in the company. That is in the annual report.
Yeah.
In the CSR report, it does not always do it. It may tell you the carbon reduction and the carbon offset. Carbon reduction is the amount of carbon reduced that last annual year in tons of CO2e. If it does, and offset is where a company sells back the carbon back to the market to generate electricity or income. That is very rare that companies do that. Tata may well do that, by the way, but other companies rarely. If it does not report it, I do not want you to make it up, all right? Because accuracy is everything. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we move to really what is the final report that you're going to use, which is the CSR report or the social impact report or citizenship or anything along those lines. In there, they will tell you of many, many projects how Tata or another company has helped people. So this is the people section, all right? And I want you to put down the values that these companies claim that they have helped. So, in other words, this company that we're looking at here has said that 0.785 million, remember million, that means 785,000 people they helped in a particular CSR project. All right? That is in their CSR report. And they will list throughout the report, they will list all the different things that they're doing. So they're saying here the next line is 108,000 people they're helped in, for example, in Africa maybe. Sorry, this one is 2 million, this one here. You can see the 2 million figure? 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just read the CSR report and you put the numbers in there that they claim that they've helped. Ignore the bottom here, the subtotal, it does automatically. You just need to copy and paste the formula across. You see there's a formula up here?
Yes, sir.
You just need to copy and paste. Do you all know how to do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So, and then finally, you put in the money leveraged, if it reports it. The money leveraged is the amount of money that sometimes a company puts money into a project, but it manages to get more money from other people because of their money. For example, Tata may put $1 million into a project to help water management in a village in, say, Kerala. But it draws down 4 million from government and 2 million from other industry partners, for example. So altogether, it's 1 million has brought in 6 million more money, right? And there you put 6 million because this is the value of impact that is brought in. You don't count their original money that they put in, okay? All right. The rest of it calculates by itself. These are the results that we're interested in the purple. Now, if you have strength and time, I'd like you to move on to the second part of it, of the same company. This is all in the accounts. So you put down here, as you can see on the left-hand side, director's salary, staff salary. Oops, sorry, I've just, my screen. Okay. Tax that they paid, etc. This area is looking at tax avoidance and pay disparity. Because as your students said, this is now very current, this issue. Tax avoidance and pay disparity, in other words, the disparity between the board pay and the staff pay. And tax avoidance is the disparity between shareholder dividends and what the government receives in tax. Okay? Now this section, let me tell you, was introduced only in December by a student, just like yourselves. So this is a very good example of how your work can go global. Because you can add other stakeholders, other ideas, how we can measure social impact. All right? And so there are the same sets of data twice, because one is for the current year. You see that? And the other is for the prior year. Now, in annual accounts, accounting principles say to you that you have to have in this year's accounts the previous year's accounts also published in the column, either to the left or to the right. So when you downloaded the accounts, you'll find the previous year, the prior year, already there as well. So you don't need to download 2 years of accounts. And the rest it does by calculation. Again, if you have issues, this is where you put down comments that we will look at, comments to the moderator. This is where you put down your name, your personal email, if possible your mobile, all right? If you don't want to, then you don't have to, but we do need at least your name in there, all right? For traceability reasons. Now, we collect this data and we start mapping into a large database. We've got about 1,600 now of corporations, all right? And I'll show you that we started I've got to write down, I haven't yet done it into the database. Oh yeah, here, Tata Infosys HCL. You see it? This is a master student who's done it. He's just submitted it, so I have those results. And I will send you his report, even though I've not marked it yet. Okay? for you to see how it's done. Now, you may wish to also play with these figures. For example, you can look at sentiment analysis over weeks. Oh, you've got 4 weeks, you may look at it and see if it changes week by week by week for the next 3 weeks. You may wish to look at more than one company. You may wish to look at 3 companies, 5 companies in the same area. It depends on your time. All I want is one company. You may wish to look at things like forecasting. This is where this guy has looked at Tata in the future. You see, 2015. He's looked at where the company has claimed what they're going to do in the future. Do you understand? And put those figures in to see how it changes the figures. The same with Infosys, the same with Wipro and HCL. So you can experiment with these figures to see how the social impact changes over time or in the future what they're forecasting. And in particular, of course, this is very important in India because you are the first country in the world to have introduced a law of the 2% CSR law, and it only became enacted 1st of April, which is that 2% of gross profits of large to medium-sized companies must be spent on CSR activity. Why do we measure their social impact? Because, of course, we know it is too easy for this social impact to be avoided, because they can take the 2%, they can put it into their own foundation, and that money may never reach the destination. Do you understand? So unless we measure the social impact, we will not know what is the impact. Because, of course, what is important is not how much money you spend, it's what the impact you're going to have. And so one of the other things that you may wish to participate, and why this work that you're doing is so important, is on the 13th to the 15th of November, the former Prime Minister of Britain, Tony Blair, is going to the Bombay Stock Exchange in Mumbai to actually talk about CSR and what we're aiming for, and I may be accompanying him. What we're aiming for is that a stock exchange not only reports the PE, the share price, the yield, the PE ratio, but also the SE ratio, so that the company really delivers, what it claims in the CSR world. Now, there is another big program that is going on right now to do with automation of this work, because of course what you're doing is very important, but there are 1 billion companies in the world, so we need to automate it eventually to try and do it very efficiently. And I've given you, I think, links to other sites here, etc., where people have started to automate it. All right, and these are companies who are spending money on, like $500,000 to $1 million to build platforms to automate it. So I think that really we've done 1 hour. I think that's the essence of this. Are there any questions before we close for today? Yes. So you read the CSR report that the company has produced, and you start listing row by row where they claim they've helped people. You put the project name down, and you put the numbers of people down.
Sir, as I have seen in the figure you showed in your Excel sheet, that the data you have collected is of 2 years. One is the previous year, one is the next year.
It's the current year and the previous year. That's only for only for tax and pay disparity. Because what we're doing is we're saying it's like this. For example, if a company has increased its profits, but it's now paying less tax than the previous year, but it's paying more to the shareholders, what it's done is it's taken money from one stakeholder and given it to another. So there is a tax avoidance going on. It's taken money that is owed to the government and paid it to shareholders, because it is not the principle of tax and dividends. It is a percentage of your profits. So it is not possible, is it, to have one go down and the other go up. If the profits have gone up, so you can have more money to the dividends for the shareholders, then you should be able to also pay more money for tax. So only for tax and pay do you look at previous year, nothing else.
Should we select a company only who is already making a CSR report?
Yes, I agree.
Very few companies as of now in India may be maintaining separate CSR reports.
I do agree. I think it is easier for you. That's why I've done it this way for you. Because if we had more time, we could go and ask the company, right? But we haven't got much time in this one. And you've only got 6 weeks for your students. So I would choose companies which already have CSR reports.
I think we do not have any other doubt, but now the first thing which we need to do is all of them need to select one company, and preferably a company who is maintaining a CSR report.
Yes.
And they need to do that online course from that website.
Correct. And submit one to you. It will be incorrect to begin with. We will look at it. So I mean, if we say we have 4 weeks, let's break it down to 3 weeks for now, because afterwards, if they wish to write it in a small report for you, all right, after the 23rd of June. But let's go for the deadline. Let's go 1 week earlier than that. Let's go for around 3 weeks from now. This first week is for you to choose the company that you want, to look at the Bombay Stock Exchange and to look at the course, all right, the course material. I would then focus the second week on getting the spreadsheet filled out, and the third week will be where we amend it together and we agree on the final result. So it's a 3-week process, okay? And any questions you have, you're more than welcome to come back to me. As Girish knows, I work quite hard.
Yeah. So in second, I think we will have some doubts during the second week when they will be compiling the data.
I agree.
So maybe in second week we can schedule a session on Hangout.
That's absolutely fine.
Because all of them will be at different places at that point of time, so Skype may not be possible. Hangout would be a better option.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm open. I'm open to you all the time.
And meanwhile, if anybody individually has doubts, he can get in touch through the mail.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for taking part in this project.
Fine.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.